we're not a symphonic orchestra. We're a community orchestra, but like the theater orchestras back in 1900, every community had live theater because they didn't have even movies at that point. And so then every theater had an orchestra, and the conductors of those orchestras never really knew from week to week who was going to show up and who was going to be playing. And it was up to the conductor to make sure that the parts were covered, and or he would rewrite the parts to make do with the instruments that were coming for the performance. I was asked to conduct a theater orchestra in New York before we moved down here to South Carolina. And that orchestra, when I left, fell apart. And at that time, we moved down here, and Eileen wanted us to have a theater orchestra down here. It's a community orchestra.
I missed an orchestra, I missed playing, and I said, can we do this down here?
And I said, well, if we can get the music that we left in New York, which I had left with other people, and sure enough, we were able to get a hold of the music. It was sitting in somebody's garage, and so we were able to have our first rehearsal in the music studio.
The music studio that is no longer there in Georgetown, in this teeny little studio.
Right,
and we were had 8 people.
8 people. We recruited 8 people, and the rest has just been every year.
Bob was part of it. And actually, something interesting, Stan said, if I can get the music, fine, but you are going to recruit the musicians.
Which she did.
Which I did, just asking everybody and anybody I met or saw, or organizations, houses of worship, whatever, I would always say, does anybody play an instrument? That some of our musicians haven't played in a long time, but some of our musicians are seasoned musicians. We've been fortunate to get those as well, that are professionals or amateurs or people that have been playing their instruments for their career musicians that are retired or whatnot. Everybody helps each other out, and also Stan does a lot of arranging of music. If we order parts and there's no, let's say, alto sax part for orchestra, which is not a usual instrument, Stan will write a part for the saxophone, or he'll make it simpler for another musician. Or what about the Barry sax? She plays.
Yeah, this Barry sax, there's really no orchestral music, but we can take a Barry sax, put her on a tuba part or something like that,
trombone,
and she becomes an integral part of the overall sound. It's not a tuba, but it can play those notes. have our spring concert here in Wynyard Auditorium starting at 7 o'clock. The concert is free, although we do gratefully accept donations as we progress. But this concert's a little unusual. We're doing an all Gershwin concert.
Okay.
And Eileen is going to be our guest soloist. She's playing Rhapsody in Blue. We're playing An American in Paris, Fascinating Rhythm, Strike Up the Band, and of course Gershwin's first big solo hit, Swanee, that Al Jolson sang and he composed that when he was 16 years old. There's really nothing else like this around here. We're playing Rhapsody in Blue, which is serious, symphonic music, and it really sounds great. And she's doing a great job on the piano. American in Paris again is top.
Right. And the other thing is that we play classical music that's fun.
Yeah.
We don't do classical music that you can fall asleep to.
So if people want to be a part of the show or come see the show May 22nd, they just show up?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Show up.
Exactly.
And
No tickets, free admission, and we usually lately have gotten a nice audience. We advertise for social media.
the nature of this program has generated excitement on
Yes.
its own, just to be
Yes.
playing serious Gershwin music.